Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone. Welcome. Great feeling of energy in the room tonight. Not sure why we're all abuzz, but I'm feeling the energy come back at me, and it's great to be together in this Shabbat as a community. How beautiful and pleasant it is, and we join together in words of pleasantness. Hine matov.
The moment you've all been waiting for. For a week, we've been planning how to have a lottery, and actually, by next week this time, we'll have a formal card with instructions about how to put your name on a sheet and then ask you, actually, if you're selected to do the candles on a particular Shabbat, to wait 6 or 7 months before you come back in the lottery to give everybody the chance to participate. We'll have full instructions and invite you as you come. If you're interested in lighting Shabbos candles with us, we'll have these cards available every Friday night. Tonight, we actually asked Steve Harvey to pick this one. No, it's the right name. It's the right name, don't worry. And these were randomly selected. Tonight, we'd like to, on page 12, invite Linda Gervitz to come forward to light our first formal lottery Shabbat candles. Yeah, we don't like lottery. We need Israeli lottery. So anybody who comes on a Friday night, we welcome you to put your name in. You will be selected by one of the clergy to light Shabbat candles. And obviously, if you still do have something special in your lives, feel free to call the office. We'll continue to do what we've always done. Again, we're on page 12.
For years, she's been buying lottery tickets. $10,000, $100,000. She's been thinking about, this is a blessed lottery to win, and the best, to be honest with you.
This is Israel's day of light and joy, a Sabbath of rest. As we kindle these Sabbath flames, may there be light and joy, happiness and holiness, serenity and peace in our homes and in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahad lifner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, eternal source of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadikner shel Shabbat. Join together in Lechadodi on page 34. Lechadodi,
Lechadodi,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
לשבת,
לקבלה,
לקבלה,
לחדודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
לשבת,
לקבלה,
לקבלה,
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אליך מיוחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושם תפארת ולתהילה, לחדודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת,
בני שבת,
לקבלה,
לקבלה,
לחדודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת,
בני שבת,
לקבלה,
לקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף המעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לחדודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת,
בני שבת,
לקבלה,
לקבלה,
לחדודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת,
בני שבת,
לקבלה.
לקבלה.
We rise together. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, בתוך אמוניה סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
בני שבת,
קבלה,
לקבלה,
לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
בני שבת,
קבלה,
לקבלה,
לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
בני שבת,
קבלה,
לקבלה,
לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לקראת כלה,
לקראת כלה,
לשבת,
בני שבת,
קבלה,
לקבלה,
לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לך דודי,
לחדודי,
לך דודי,
לך דודי,
לך דודי.
Continue on page 41 responsively. May these prayers change me, this community work through my spirit. May the symbols around me shine in my heart, the words of Torah light up my eyes. May these friendships flow through me like a wave, this family move me like a full moon. We turn now to the Chatzi Kaddish.
Page 42. יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברך ירתי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חון וביום חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קרי וימרו אמן יש מרב מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בהלמה וימרו la 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 la
In the middle of page 45, together, our kind deeds are used by God as seed for the planting of trees in the Garden of Eden. Thus, each of us, by our deeds, has the power to create our own paradise. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, O God, who makes the evening fall. Page 49. We are loved by an unending love. We are guided by the still small voice within us. We are loved by an unending love. A ner tamid to be tended from generation to generation. And a gentle love. Giving meaning to our existence, structure to our lives. And of all the generations who have embraced their covenant.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. As you're seated, we go on page 57. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shofbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha u'chetavetam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The other night, Wendy and I attended a wonderful event sponsored by the Jewish Family Service, featuring Judge Stephen Rhodes of the Detroit bankruptcy case. And at one point, someone raised their hand and asked him, Judge Rhodes, with all the disparate interests, how did you get the unions and the mayor and the city council and the creditors and the DIA all to come together and agree on the grand bargain, which really saved the city? And he gave a very legalistic answer. He said, it was a miracle. And if you think of how unlikely that miracle really was, suddenly it doesn't seem so crazy that Moses could have raised his rod and caused the waters of the Red Sea to part, leading the children of Israel from slavery to freedom. And we celebrate all of our miracles on page 62 with our song of miracles and of redemption, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף מלכותך ראו בניך, וכאיים לפני משה. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. Ya la 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 la. Dora tehilot osef ele, Dora tehilot osef ele, Adonai yimlok leolam vaed. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב, וגהלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Just to return to that event one more time, it was actually an event which was to celebrate the lawyers, the attorneys in our community who volunteer through Jewish Family Service to serve the indigent of the community. It's really a wonderful program. And just to prove that everything is included in our prayer book, if you look at the next prayer that we're going to sing together, Hashkivenu on page 64, it includes the words, "O God, guide us with your good counsel." You see, so everything is here as we sing together the Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Behamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. O cause us our Creator to lie down in peace and raise us up, O sovereign God, to renewed life and peace. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, vehamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Oh, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel and be our shield of mercy and of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, vehamidenu malkeinu Adonai, Sifatai Tiftachu Fi Yagit Yilatecha, eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sahara, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Hasei Avot ve'himaot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, L'mahan Shemo ve'ahava, Melech Chozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
We read together on page 69. Prayer invites us to let God's presence suffuse our spirits, to let God's will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Baruch atah Adonai, Machayeh HaKol. Blessed are you, O God, who renews all things.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. As you're seated, we pray silently. Ose shalom bimroma uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
So as we were preparing for Shabbat tonight, we looked out the window, and you'll never guess what we saw. Okay, so we saw the deer later. A wild turkey in our front yard. Everybody ran to the window. It was the greatest sight. Then as I was coming to temple, we saw the deer. And then a fox ran across the road. It was unbelievable. I thought maybe we should be reading the story of Noah's Ark tonight instead of Vayera. So what does it have to do with the Misha Berach? Well, I've been struggling through the whole service because I really wanted to just tell you the story. I realized because seeing these animals tonight just gave me a sense of uplift, a sense of joy, a little bit of wonder. And those who are ill, who need healing, that's what they need. They need that little sense of uplift, that wonder, that healing that we can provide through our prayer and God can provide through a refuah shlema, complete healing of body and of spirit. And so we sing together the words of the Misha Berach on page 83.
Misha Berach avotenu mekol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
On October 13th, Ruben Arkelevich, Executive Director of URJ Camp Newman, delivered the sermon at Congregation Emmanuel in San Francisco. His words were adapted into a blog post entitled, 5 Miracles I Saw at Camp Newman Last Week. He wasn't speaking about the miracles of clean campers or super delicious camp food. It was October, after all. Arkelevich was speaking about the miracles he witnessed in the week following the October 9th fire that devastated the camp. The flames of the Napa and Sonoma Valley fire did not spare the camp, but it did spare a few things, and in those things he saw miracles. He writes, "We drove through the roadblocks and were given special accommodations to visit Camp Newman. In the eyes of the police officers and firefighters, I could see what had transpired. So sorry for your loss, they said to me. Thank you for all you're doing, I responded." One of the most startling lines he wrote was this one: "The 8 miles from Highway 101 to camp have been transformed from color photography to black and white." He spoke of homes burned to the ground, leaving only debris and lonely chimneys rising from the ash. But as he drove into camp, he said all he felt was ruach, spirit. The entrance sign to camp was still standing. He entered camp through a curtain of smoke, and it was then that he saw the first miracle. He writes, "On the mountaintop overlooking camp, our wooden Star of David was untouched by the fire. Its presence spoke to me, Hineni, I am here." And then another miracle. The Beit Tfilah, the gathering space for services, was mostly intact. The bima was completely destroyed, but the storage shed that holds their sidurim and talitot and kippot was intact. Again he thought, Hineni, I am here. 2 arks that hold the camp's Torahs during the summer survived the fire. Hineni. And there was one more miracle. When you leave camp, there is a message on an archway facing you as you turn around for one last look. It has the words of Debbie Friedman's Tfilat Haderech written on it. May you be blessed as you go on your way. It was still there, untouched. A miracle. Not only was I taken by the sheer miracles that Arkelevich found at Camp Newman, I was also intrigued by his choice of the word Hineni, here I am. It is one of those words that if you don't read the Torah in Hebrew, you will miss the nuance and the power. It's not just like answering here when a teacher takes attendance. It's more than just physically showing up. It is a statement of presence, suggesting permanence. I am here now. I will be here when I'm called upon. I will always be available when I'm needed. It is almost like the human expression of God's ineffable name, which translate to is, was, will be. Hineni is a statement of eternality. The Star of David that withstood the flames called out, I was here for the campers in the past. I am still here amidst the ash, and I will be here when we welcome campers back to this sacred space. Hineni is a familiar word to our ears. Perhaps one of the most famous usages of this word appears in our Torah portion this week. God tells Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. With the benefit of hindsight, we know that it is only a test of faith and Isaac is not ultimately sacrificed. But Abraham had no such guarantee that God would not actually take the son he waited 100 years for. So instead of arguing, instead of crying out against the horrid, vile request, when God calls out to Abraham, he answers, Hineni, I am here. I am here. I was here when you first called to me to leave my father's house. I am here now when you ask this of me. I will be here when the next challenge arises, and I imagine Abraham knew full well that inevitably it would. Abraham answers not with a simple yes or ma ata rotzeh, what do you want, God? He answered with his presence, his entire being, his eternality. And when he leaves the place that God, for the place that God will show him, he leaves eagerly. He rises early to begin the journey. He takes Isaac and a few young men with him, and they set off. And once they reach the place, they leave the two young men, and father and son continue by themselves. The story has a beautiful cadence in the Hebrew. When speaking to each other, Abraham and Isaac constantly refer to each other as Avi, my father, and Beni, my son. They could have just as easily spoken to each other without these terms of affection. But instead, the call and answer with which they communicate is raised to a higher level by constantly reminding each other of their connection and their relationship and their love. Listen to this exchange. Vayomer Yitzchak el Abraham Aviv, Vayomer Avi, Vayomer Hineni B'ni. And Isaac said to Abraham his father and says, my father. And Abraham says, Hineni B'ni, I am here, my son. Imagine the power of that moment. Right after this exchange, Isaac realizes that they are carrying wood and fire, but there is no lamb. He asks his father, where is the lamb? It is at this moment that the ancient rabbis believe that Isaac understands he is the lamb. So how does Abraham begin their exchange? How does he enter this horrible, heartbreaking exchange with the son of his dreams, the child of his old age? With presence, with unequivocal permanence, with a promise that he was there when God foretold of his arrival. He was there as Isaac grew, and he would be there through this horrible trial. God would later call out to Moses from a bush that burned but was not consumed, and Moses would reply with Hineni. Joseph answered his father's request to find his brothers with Hineni. God called out to Samuel, our prophet, and he answered Hineni. Have you ever wondered how you would answer if God called out to you? Of course, there is the old joke saying that if you talk to God, you're religious, but if God talks back, you're insane. In truth, I think God is talking to us all the time when we are challenged and is asking us to rise to that challenge. You might not have felt ready to get married when you got engaged, but when you said I do under the chuppah, you were really saying Hineni. When you first held your children and you realized that you were, in fact, the one in charge, you might not have had the strength to say it out loud, but that first time you held your child, you said, Hineni. Ryan and I still joke that we can't believe that we are the ones in charge, but we are. And every day our kids look to us to protect them, provide for them, and nurture them. And every night, whether we are sick or tired or stressed, when we tuck them in, sing the Shema, and give them a kiss, we say Hineni. When you take care of an aging parent and you have to take the keys away or remind them who you are saying Hineni. We live in a world that is looking for people who will say Hineni. Refugees, those who are wrongfully imprisoned or given inordinately long sentences for minor offenses. Even our earth is reaching out and begging for us to say Hineni. No matter what issue you choose, be it fighting the opioid epidemic, human trafficking, anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism. Whatever you choose, realize that like Abraham, you are taking upon yourself a test of faith. You have to have faith that your actions make a difference, because they do. You have to have faith that there are others out there who are working just as hard and who are willing, like you, to devote themselves to creating a world where there are people who say Hineni, and they far outnumber the people who turn their backs on those who need our strength and our influence. Abraham passed the test. Will we? And don't get me wrong, I think the test was awful. But aren't the trials we are facing today just as scary, just as dire? I would argue that they are, and we must respond with the same presence, permanence, and courage that Abraham did. As the sign says, as you leave Camp Newman, I pray that each of you are blessed as you go on your way, as you fight for the stranger, the forgotten, the sick, the fearful, your children, my children, our earth. Stand up and say Hineni. If you do, if we all do, we can all become the Star of David that survived the fire. Shabbat Shalom.
I've been wandering in the desert of doubt, searching for meaning. What is life all about? There are so many paths, and I've explored them all. But I always felt there was a missing piece. Was I somehow denying an important part of me? Then the voices of my people spoke. Now I'm answering the call. Hineni, here I am, ready to receive your holy plan. Openly, gratefully, let me be all I can be. Hineni, here I am. Used to think this all was ancient history, just couldn't imagine what it had to do with me. Stories and tales from another place and time. But my roots go deep, and with each word I read, I could hear my father's fathers, the same words that they said. It's like they all were telling me, this history is mine. Hineni, here I am, ready to receive your holy plan. Openly, gratefully, let me be all I can be. Hineni, here I am. Adonai, as the ark is opened, so is my heart, and I know I'm not alone. Adonai, as these words are spoken, I'm where I'm meant to be. I am home. Hineni, here I am, ready to receive your holy plan. Openly, gratefully, let me be all I can be. Hineni,
I'd now like to invite a member of our executive committee, Hillary King, to come forward now to address the congregation.
Shalom. Tonight, I won the announcement lottery. Just in time for Hanukkah, join Sisterhood on Wednesday, November 8th for fashion, fun, and games. Shop from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the boutiques. It's always a great place to buy gifts for yourself or for the special people in your life. The Goodman Family Judaic Archival Museum has a permanent place for their permanent collection. Make a point to stop by the Wasserman Atrium and see the collection in our beautiful new cases in a beautiful new space if you have not already done so. I hope this inspires you to make a tribute in honor or memory of a loved one or to honor a life cycle event, which will help fund one of the current or future items in the collection. Join a girls' night out on Tuesday, November 14th with author Jessica Fishman as she discusses her book, Chutzpah and High Heels, The Search for Love and Identity in the Holy Land. She gives a seldom-seen snapshot of Israeli culture and highlights the importance of Jewish pluralism. Wondering what to do with last year's coat? Temple Israel is partnering with Tappers for their annual coat, mitten, hat, glove, and boot drive beginning now until the end of November. You can purchase a new item or donate a gently used coat or hat or mitten or glove. The items will be distributed by mid-December. If you'd like more information, check the information table as you leave or call the temple office. Please join us after services for the Oneg and Shabbat greetings. Shabbat Shalom.
You can't imagine how great the museum looks right now. How many of you have stopped by and seen it on the way in? Now, there's a bar mitzvah going on in the sanctuary, so don't talk loudly. Don't go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good the museum looks. I mean, because they'll hear you in the sanctuary. But take a few moments and look. The cases are spectacular, but the content of being able to place our museum collection back in gives that room another level of depth. So I'm looking around. Do we have any youngsters 11 years of age and younger here tonight? Where? Where? Do I see any? Oh, yes, thank goodness. Come on up. Come all the way up here. We need you desperately. As we turn to the Aleinu on page 189 and rise and sing together.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'hadon hakol, hateit gdula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu gahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, ifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar hayah Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We turn now to the task of memory as we recall those in our family and congregation and community who've died in the period of Shloshim. We remember Helen Edelman, Jack Edelman, Rhoda Bennett, Hy Blinder, Karen Block, Sherry Kale, Albert Coleman, Jeffrey Eaton, Jacqueline Eckhouse, Elaine Garcia, Frances Goldberg, Harold Gottlieb, Leo Jacobs, Mark Klinger, Barbara Crone, Gary Lebret, Beverly Laker, Gary Lubin, Val Resnick, Nettie Rothenberg, Zelda Schwedel, Rita Steinberg, Zachary Wallace, Michael Weinberg, Michael Weiner, Victor Weidenbaum, Harvey Wolf, and John Zumbrunnen. We remember those whose yard sites fall at this time. Shirley Agri, Leah Althausen, Lorraine Altus, A. Victor Beiser, Norman Blatt, Pearl Blasowski, Abraham Louis Bressoff, Harvey Cohen, Sylvia Deutsch, Edward Fisher, Dr. Craig Marshall Gastworth, Dr. Robert Goldberg, Rebecca Goldberg, Alvin Gorin, David Gross, Helen Grundy, Maury Jacobs, Rose Jarris, Harold Josehart, June Katz, Harry Kay, Daniel Kramer, Mark Kramer, Rose Kruger, Arnold Lakritz, Lena Lakritz, Louis Lipman, Kaylee Loss, Richard Allen Monash, Jack Nover, Alex Roth, Fern Roth, Hyman Silver, David Solomon, Bernard Tarnow, Yetta Young, Goldie Zager, Judy Zager, Norman Zager, Jesse Nankin, Marcia Saltz, Sarah Weiss, Rose Stern, Dora Walken, Harry Levitt, Bernard Gerber, Marty Stein, Dorothy Block, Stanley McGill, Esther Abrahams, Bruce Abrahams, Madeline Berman, Tola Gilbert, and Goldie Lett. Tehei Nishmoteham Soror Bisra Chaim. May their souls be bound up in the bond of everlasting life and memory. We turn now to page 199 for the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayecho nu'vyomecho nu'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman karib v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemedikud Shabrihu, Laela min ko birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. Amen.
Now, many years ago, on a Rosh Hashanah morning, how many of you were there when the shofarist did not show up and I got to blow the shofar for the only time in my career? Raise your hands if you remember that grand moment. And I said my mother would be so proud of that fact because I played trumpet all my life till I dropped trumpet, and I gave up the trumpet, and finally all those years of lessons has some value because I can still play the shofar. So tonight, Neil had to go into the sanctuary for a moment to help out in there, and my mother's yortzeit is tonight, as some of you may have heard. And Mom, you're going to hear the three of us lead this congregation in Adon Olam. And that is a miracle on page 201. 1, 2, 3. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'yed nasa b'chepsa kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora, v'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu echad, v'ein sheni, l'hamshilo, l'hachbira, v'li reshit, v'li tachlit, v'lo hoz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai go'ali Spirit v'hu chevli b'eit zara v'hu nisi umanosli manat kosi big finish guys b'yado efkid ruchi V'yeti shan v'ya'ira v'imruchi gaviati Adonoli velo ira. It felt like my old shul back home that I grew up in, except we didn't sway like that. We swayed like this. Shabbat shalom.